Yo, what's poppin', it's Remulous. Welcome back to a brand new video. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to half flip forwards and backwards, how to practice it, and what they are both useful for. Timestamps are on the screen as always. Alrighty then, so the normal half flip. Simply what this is this allows you to go from backwards to forwards in a very short amount of time. I'll show you this again. So we're reversing here and now we're going forward just like that. Very easy, very quick, and extraordinarily useful. So this half flip is extremely useful in many situations. Let's assume you take a shot like this, doesn't go on target, and you need to rush back to defense very quickly. Let's say you're waiting on the left side for a pass, your teammate gets dunked, and you have to return to net as fast as you possibly can. So it's very useful for coming back to net. Secondly, it's very useful for recovering off flicks. If we do a flick like this, notice how I half flip out of the flick, so then I hit the ground as soon as possible, and I can get right back in the play. And thirdly, it's really strong for recovery. So if you get bumped from behind, you can just pull out a half flip like this to get going in the right direction. Or if you get bumped on the wall, you can pull out a half flip to keep on going forward. It's incredibly versatile and very useful. Now, the forwards or irregular half flip is also very useful, but much less common. So for instance, you might do something like this, where you can grab a boost while still pointing in the direction of interest instead of having to do a complete full drift turn where you're out of the play for a little bit. Okay, so another thing that the reverse half flip is very useful for, that I really like, is a very common situation in 1v1. So if we imagine the ball is kind of rolling towards this boost, doesn't really matter if it's missing or not, kind of just rolling there. You've just been on the offensive and you've stolen all your opponent's boost. So you're going to go now to collect the ball. He's going to go past the ball, turn around, instant dribble, put it past him, and goal. The opponent will never expect you to turn around on the ball this fast and pop it right over him. So you can definitely get some good outplays with it. And like I said, it's very useful with collecting boosts, but still being relevant in the play. Alrighty then, so on with the tutorial. We're going to kick this off with the normal version of the half flip. Remember, that's backwards to forwards. And I'm going to be showing you one method of doing this. Now, you might be aware of two separate methods, but this method that I'm going to go over is much better than the other one. And the one I'm going to cover is the one that involves an air roll right or left bind, and I'll explain why later on. Okay then, so we're going to be kicking this off with the normal half flip. Remember, this is the one that goes from reversed to forwards, the most commonly used half flip variation. And it's actually surprisingly straightforward. So really all it's going to start off being is a backflip. Now I'm sure all of you guys are capable of this. If you're not, don't worry about it. It doesn't take very long to get used to, but just make sure you can backflip as step number one. Okay, so now the next step is to do this very same backflip, but as soon as you start the backflip, you need to instantly move the left stick to the 12 o'clock position, slap bang in the middle, as high up as it goes, so it looks something a little bit like this. Something a little bit like that. You want the flip to just kind of cancel halfway, and then you kind of just land on your back and slide around. You need to keep practicing this until you can do it every single time, and when you can, you'll be ready for the next step. The key here is just to remember to push the stick up as quick as you can, as early as you can, and make sure you hold it. Don't just tap it up and let go. You need to make sure the stick stays at the 12 o'clock position until you hit the ground. Okay, so the next step requires you to have an air roll direction button bound to L3. So I made a video all about the best settings, the link will be in the description, but if you already have air roll left or air roll right on L3, then you are good to follow on with the tutorial, but if not, just bind one of them to L3 and you'll be good to go. Alrighty, so now all you're going to do is as soon as you cancel your dodge and push the left stick to the 12 o'clock position, you're going to push it in as well, and then right, just the same as before, as you're holding the stick at the 12 o'clock position, you're going to push it in and hold it in. Whenever the stick is at the 12 o'clock position, it needs to also be pushed in. And doing this, all in conjunction with everything you've just done, will complete the half flip. As long as you keep it at the 12 o'clock position and hold the left stick in whenever it's there, you will perform the half flip. Now, this will take some time to get used to. It wouldn't take crazy long, maybe somewhere around 20 minutes of constant practice. but just keep at it. The muscle memory will kick in, and eventually you will start to get the hang of it, and it will get a lot more fun. To start with, probably be a little bit frustrating because you'll be backflipping a whole lot, but just remember, push the stick up to the 12 o'clock position, hold it, and then push in L3 and keep it held until you have completely rolled over. So the reverse style half flip, the one where you go forwards to reverse forwards, is more or less the exact same in principle. It's just reflected about the x-axis. So instead of doing a backflip, taking the stick to the 12 o'clock position, then pushing it in, all you're going to do is do a front flip, bring the stick down to the 6 o'clock position, and then push it in. So it's more or less the same thing. Front flip, 6 o'clock, hold, air roll. It's the same thing in principle. It will take some time to get used to, but it is exactly the same. I would recommend learning the normal method first, because it will probably make this one a whole lot easier, and it is more globally useful at everything but the extreme high ranks, but more or less both of them are very useful, and they are more or less the exact same. And this is why I highly advise using this air roll method, because there is a method of half flipping whereby you don't have to use an air roll, and you can kind of just move the stick to like the 1 o'clock position, then the 12 when you bring it back up. But the problem with that is simply that you can't really blend it with anything. If you use the half flip method, you can easily turn things, you know, into a tornado spin, or you can simply just do a half flip without the air roll to try and get a better angle on something. It's just much more versatile and controllable. One thing I will add as well about the reverse half flip is that you will need to get used to distances, because with a normal half flip you don't really have an end distance per se. You're just trying to get up to speed as fast as possible. Well, obviously with the reverse half flip you need to land at a final destination, so you need to get used to judging the distances and making sure you land on the boosts and things like that. Alrighty then, so that pretty much does conclude this tutorial. So I hope you guys could follow along pretty cleanly, and it wasn't too complicated. Let me know how it goes in the comments. Hope it all goes just about fine. So like I said, this is the end of the video. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Happy training, guys. Take it easy, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.